And I believe so. Okay, this is part 2 of the series on explaining what is blockchain and NFTs. And it's fairly simple if you can remember these little, boy, it's fairly simple if you can remember these little details of exactly what a block is and now how it forms a chain, okay? So each block contains data and is given a hash. And if it's a brand new, if it's a fresh transaction, if it's a new block, it won't have information of a previous block because it is a new block, okay? So let's say you wanted to upload your music. Your music is uploaded, it becomes data, it's given a hash, a unique fingerprint, and now that unit has to go through a process of authentication. And what is that process of authentication? Let's go to the next step and I'll try to explain that. The next step is here. Make this bigger, and you put your stuff on, or you make a transaction. You put your music, your lyrics, your whatever. You can upload your birth certificate, whatever you put on to the transaction, to when you initiate the transaction. This is your transaction, and it's broken up into different little blocks. Now, what happens is peer-to-peer means person to person or computer to computer, not, all right, you might have to do a video of peer-to-peer so you can understand what peer-to-peer is, but it's a safe way of sending data. When you use Signal or when you use WhatsApp, these programs, apps, allow you to talk directly to the person you're talking to without anybody else being able to look in or listen into your conversation. It's peer to peer. It's very, very safe. This is how blockchain works. Although it sends it to several people at one time. And what happens is when this person here receives it and this person receives it, all of these things is verified. And it's simultaneously, the computer algorithms of the computer does this so rapidly, so quickly. If everybody receives a copy in good standing and everything checks out, it gets approved. And then it's allowed to become a part of the blockchain, okay? So there is peer-to-peer, meaning it goes from your point to another computer screen, and it goes to several at one time, but it's direct to them and no one else can peer into it. Now, if this one was intercepted, let's just say, this would not be completed because it wouldn't be a check over here because it wouldn't match up to all of the other blocks. So the blocks get sent out to several different people, and it's really called nodes, and their computers verify if everyone else's is the same, if they got the same information. And then it gets checked off and it becomes a part of the block, okay? And I hope that's not too confusing. We're gonna minimize that and go to the next chain. So this is part of what happens when a new block is created. And let's say you want to change that or you want to update it. When you change that block and you update it, it's sent to, like I said, all of those different individuals. It's just peer-to-peer, sent to different computers, different persons to get verified. If it gets verified, what happens is this creates a new hash. It does not have the same number anymore. You notice here, this is the original hash of this block. It's sent out with changes on it. The changes is now calculated to see, okay, this is the new hash, because anything new or anything changed immediately gets a new hash number. Now to verify, it has to match up to the previous. So does the previous number match? Yes, new number, okay. So now someone else, or this is distributed to someone else, or changes is made to it. Legit changes is made to it. If it's a legit change, this hash is going to change. It's going to be that block done went through 3 changes. It's going to have a new hash number, but it also has to have the information from the last 2. So this is going to match the previous, and this is going to match the previous. This is a complete chain. This is legit. If it's not legit, that means this one was changed, the hash was changed, and now there is no previous block to verify the data because it wasn't done properly. It was hacked. All right. So this falls off, and this more or less is just hanging in the limb. It's nothing that can be verified because the chain was broken. It's a chain of ownership. It's a chain of records, and none of this data can be altered. In other words, the original block can be changed and create a new hash, but it can't be altered. If it's altered and none of the nodes match up when it's sent to the other computers, it's null and void. So I am doing my damnedest to get you to understand how blockchain works. And if there's any discrepancies in this chain of command or this chain of ownership, it nullifies the process. So let's backtrack and let's see if we did this any justice. Here again is the actual block. It's being created. You're putting your data in, you're putting your music in, you're putting your scripts in, you're putting your videos in, whatever you're putting in, it's getting a unique fingerprint, a unique identifying number. Now, what you do from here, and everything is like transactions. You're going to make a new transaction. Let's talk about transaction as far as a Bitcoin. When you're buying a coin, the process is a little different because this information that's going to be put on this coin is the amount of coins being bought or sold, and the purchaser and the seller, where it's coming from, where it's going, and how much is going to be on this hash, on this, on this information. Once it goes to the next step, it's going to get verified. That process is going to get verified. If everything matches up, then the transaction is complete. It gets all the check marks, and it is added to the blockchain. Okay, and it's secure. There's no way it can be altered, changed without going through the appropriate steps to change it or alter it. All right. So there is a mode of protection embedded in this process, and it's proof of I can't remember the name of it, proof of something, I'll get it in a minute. But this process is extremely secure because of the way it is processed. It goes from the transaction to peer-to-peer to several different nodes to get verified before it's actually allowed to get onto the blockchain. Okay, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell of what a blockchain is, and how it's actually created, and the data that's involved with it, how the information has to look back. Like, let's go back to this this particular diagram, and all the way here at the end, again, if this is a correct chain, is a proper chain, it's going to reflect back to the previous hash, That is complete, and it's a good chain. So someone created something, they sold it to somebody, and then somebody else sold it to somebody else, or it's been passed on. So once it goes to a different owner or a different holder, the hash changes, but the chain of command is noted. Now, anyone can look up these blockchains, these transactions, by knowing the hash. You punch this hash into a database, and it will show you who the owner is and what's going on with it right now. All right. So that's what makes this process, this thing called blockchain, secure and very, very important. And it's changing the way a lot of things is being done. When you notarize, you can even use it as a digital notary because of the proof of work. That's what the word I was looking for, proof of work. because of the authenticity of the process, this thing can be used for so many different things. When you want to create a trust, you wanted to do smart contracts, those of which I will be just explaining in later videos, smart contracts and proof of work, what happens with proof of work and how proof of work evaluates and authenticates these blockchain transactions. Okay, so I hope I did this some kind of justice. If I didn't, you please let me know in the comments. Let me know what I missed, what I could have added, what I didn't explain properly. I try to make it as clear as possible in layman's terms without getting all digital and techie so that the average person can understand it. So, you can do your own research on it. You can look it up for yourself, blockchain, what is blockchain, and see if another person could explain it better than I just did. I do my best, and I may not have knocked this one out the park. Someone else may be able to do it a little better than I, but you want to learn what is blockchain, how it works, and how it's going to affect how future transactions occur. And you need to be, in on this information. All right. So this is Bud Brownsville for All Trap House. And we're trying to get you educated on what blockchains are and what NFTs are. All right. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more content on All Trap House Academy. Take care.